The ghost of the trade they didn't make hangs heavy over Wrigleyville, a cautionary specter shimmering in the wake of the newest acquisition. Exactly 1 year after the Chicago Cubs famously walked away from a potential deal for a high-risk Marlins arm, citing durability concerns, they just paid an enormous, almost shocking price, their pipeline's consensus crown jewel, Kevin Alcantara, for Edward Cabrera, a pitcher defined by both triple-digit heat and a perpetually tender elbow.
Welcome back to 604 News Now, where today we're analyzing the seismic shift in the Cubs' pitching philosophy, trading guaranteed future value for 3 years of high-octane, high-risk, potentially season-defining rotation dominance. This wasn't just a trade. This was Jed Hoyer looking at the volatility of the starting pitching market, where even a disappointing veteran like Dustin May gets $5 million on a 1-year deal, and Adrian Houser secures $22 million over 2 years, and deciding that control over a premier arm, regardless of the baggage, is the ultimate golden ticket.
The allure of Edward Cabrera is undeniable, intoxicating, almost hypnotic. We're talking about a man whose four-seam fastball kisses 99.8 MPH and whose sinker is right behind it at 99.6 MPH. But the true weapon, the pitch that causes scouts to lean forward and whisper, is the circle changeup. At a staggering 97.7 MPH, it's arguably the fastest, most vicious changeup in the entire major leagues, backed up by a 92.8 MPH slider.
This is pure stuff. Elite velocity married to baffling movement, resulting in a 3.54 ERA over 26 starts last season, despite battling early season blister issues. As veteran talent evaluator Ace Lettington argues, this is an asset play, pure and simple. We are buying 3 years of service time for a guy who has that velocity separation and the ability to drop his arm angle to finally command the zone. We just need to manage the blisters and the shoulder soreness that plagued his early 2024 season. His mileage is short, under 400 innings pitched through age 27. This is the low-carb Ferrari of pitching, ready to explode. But this is where the counter-argument crashes into the reality of fragility. While Cabrera's total innings count is low, the type of damage is worrisome. He struggled with shoulder impingement early in 2024, and more critically, he experienced 2 separate episodes of elbow discomfort late in the season, including being pulled on August 30th with elbow inflammation. Dr. Elias Moreno, a sports medicine specialist we consulted, countered the low mileage defense sharply. Low cumulative mileage is largely irrelevant when the underlying infrastructure is already showing significant fatigue or compromise.
This isn't a vintage engine. It's a Formula One engine running on max torque constantly. The fact is, 400 innings of this kind of maximum effort, high-velocity delivery creates wear and tear disproportionate to the count. Every high 90s pitch taxes the joint. The Cubs are betting that improved muscle density and better mental preparation, which Cabrera dedicated himself to this offseason, will overcome structural issues.
That's a massive gamble when you're trading the 47th overall prospect in baseball. That brings us to the centerpiece of the sacrifice, Kevin Alcantara, a left-handed outfielder with 60-grade power and 45-grade hit tool potential. Alcantara immediately becomes the Marlins' number 3 prospect, and they also secured Christian Hernandez and Edgardo De Leon, turning 3 high-ceiling bats into necessary pitching depth. The Athletics' collective grade was split, mostly favoring the Marlins slightly over the Cubs, highlighting the concern that Casey's contact issues, his strikeout rate approached 30% in the minors, might be mitigated by Miami's ability to develop power hitters, a path we just saw successfully navigated by Brian De La Cruz. The trade's success pivots entirely on 2 extreme outcomes: Cabrera staying healthy for 3 years, or Alcantara learning to consistently make contact. And now for the twist, the elephant in the room named Jesus Luzardo. Just a year ago, the Cubs agreed to trade for Luzardo, another promising high-velocity Marlins starter, but they backed out of the deal over concerns about Luzardo's physical condition. Luzardo, who had just 2 years of control remaining at the time, went on to throw 183.2 innings with a 3.91 ERA last season, fully demonstrating his durability.
Crucially, he faced the Cubs twice, going 2-0 with an astonishing 0.75 ERA against the team that doubted him. The irony is agonizing. The Cubs walked away from the known, albeit risky, commodity in Luzardo, only to pay a higher premium, their literal top prospect, a price that topped the package needed for Shane Baz just a few weeks prior, for Cabrera, an arm with demonstrably greater injury concerns and only one extra year of control. Did the front office truly learn the right lesson? Or did they just internalize the cost of not getting Luzardo and overcorrect by desperately snatching the next available high-upside Marlins pitcher, regardless of the price tag or the history of elbow discomfort? The acquisition, combined with the earlier addition of Imanaga and existing depth like Justin Steele and Jameson Taillon, solidifies a formidable rotation capable of challenging any team in the National League Central. However, this move clearly signals that the Cubs are operating with an aggressive win-now urgency, evidenced by their continued involvement in high-stakes free agency chases for players like Alex Bregman and Juan Soto. They have abandoned the patience that defined their minor league strategy over the past 3 years. This trade is a high-stakes poker move, clearing the deck for Seiya Suzuki to return to right field and PCA to solidify center, while setting up Moises Ballesteros potentially as the full-time DH. The clock is ticking, not just on Cabrera's arm, but on Hoyer's reputation. This trade, more than any free agent signing, will define the next chapter of Cubs baseball. Whether Cabrera becomes the Cy Young contender his stuff promises or another name on the injury report, the cost of Aurelvis Cabrera will forever be etched against this high-velocity gamble. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the high-risk, high-reward strategy employed by the Cubs, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with fellow baseball fanatics, and subscribe to 604 News Now for more hard-hitting analysis.
Do you think the Cubs made the right decision paying a top 50 prospect for Cabrera, or should they have held on to Alcantara, given Cabrera's documented durability issues? Let us know in the comments below.